Andre, welcome back.
How good is this?
This is amazing.
This is really comfortable.
Are you a popcorn connoisseur?
Not connoisseur.
You hesitated there.
I like popcorn more than it likes me. Let's put it that way.
Ah, fair enough. Fair enough. Well, we're gonna do some memory lane walking down. How's that? Shall we stroll?
Fantastic. Let's hope it's not amnesia lane.
I hope so too. Okay, so you played 53 matches here. You won the title 4 times. You always arrived in Australia peak fitness. What was it about this tournament that gelled with you so much as we take a look at some of these matches?
It's really the only tournament that you have total control of as it relates to your preparation, right? So I always sacrificed my fall just to make sure I came down here ready. Part of it was to pay back Australia as much as I could for not playing this tournament for the first 9 years of my career. And so I didn't know what I was going to get when I first came down here, and I couldn't believe I was so embraced. This is the Pete final, right, in '95. This is my first year. It's my first bald slam.
Do-rag is on.
Oh yeah, that was set point to win the.
Was that the 4th set?
Third set. That's the third set. Yeah, I was down 6-4 in that tiebreaker, and he hit a serve out wide, and I actually hit a return winner off the net up the line. I like watching Pete more when you pick the highlights.
Yeah.
This is match point. This is ace out wide. Hard to forget. Hard to forget.
When you see moments like this, can you travel back in time and be in your body right then?
Yeah, I mean, you remember every part of it, you know, but it's so interesting, you know. I mean, you see a moment like this, but moments like this make you remember everything that led up to it, which takes you back to the deserts of Vegas, which takes you back to childhood in a lot of ways, right? This is just I mean, that's not just a great 2 weeks. That's an entire life lived just to have the opportunity to be that exhausted. This is another ace if this is match point. I always enjoyed jumping the field because, you know, you're on this hamster wheel. There's my baby. You're on this hamster wheel of a year, you know, and if you could somehow push pause and then really get yourself ready while everybody feels kind of like, oh my gosh, another year starting, I felt I was really enthused about it. Oh, come on, this is a backhand winner up the line if this is match point. This got to be the up the line winner. It has to be. He asked me after this match. I'd never been in the finals. Was this a good final?
He said that to you?
It was so funny. Yeah, he goes, was this a good final? And I looked at him and I didn't know what to say because it was, you know, pretty quick. But I said to him, this was an exceptional final.
Yeah. 03, right?
Yeah. That was. I mean, I wasn't hitting the ball better in my entire life than I was at that stage. Yeah. This was an epic match. This is actually the 4-set breaker. I think nearly every point in this breaker was a clean winner from somebody.
Really?
This is sensational.
Who was up 2-1 at this point?
So this is he's up 2-1. Yeah. I had a lot of chances to blow the match to win this set.
Oh,
I mean, like every
beauty.
point. So yeah, 4-set breaker. So winning this breaker was a big deal because I knew physically I had the edge as far as who was expending more. I mean, that was a heck of a shot. He hit a running forehand and he looked up the crowd and it was almost like one of those, oh, here Pete goes again. Yeah, that was a real physical match though. I mean, he was pretty tired at the end.
You guys just had so many.
I went straight to Pinocchio's after this and had an entire large pizza just by myself.
You did?
Yeah, just to
crush it.
Yeah, 2 days to get ready for the finals. That helped because if the finals was a day and a half later, it would have been a lot harder.
Yeah.
You know, physically.
I know you've talked about it a lot, but you've had a lot of space now to reflect on that rivalry with Pete. Why did it? You guys just produced some incredible matches here and obviously all over the world.
It's not too often that two kind of games and two kind of personalities kind of, you know, come to the table fighting for the best in the world, and that's what it takes, right? That's why you have like the Federer-Nadal, right? It's like two entirely different approaches to the game of tennis and playing for, you know, the biggest titles, and Pete and I had that.
We're watching this, you know, in a cinematic setting, but you can never write those scripts, like you say, in sport.
Pete had a real interesting way of taking the racket out of your hand, disrupting, you know. Sometimes he'd rise above you in level of play, and sometimes he had this unique ability to bring you down in level of play. And he also knew when to turn it on. He never felt the need to get you into a rhythm early. He'd wait till he smelled a little blood, and then the next thing you know, he could really pounce on it. And he was, he was pretty special up in the mind too. Yeah. And there was no occasion, you know, too big for him. he went out there and believed in himself always. Oh, look at Chrissy. She's
Ooh, that's
awesome.
so good. So this is the '88 final, and this was the year that your partner won the Golden Slam.
Yeah. That
Has
is-
not been done since.
Oh, yeah. It's look at that Ginsu knife of a slice.
I mean, nasty.
Oh my goodness! Say hello to my little friend.
What do you remember of experiencing watching Steffi from afar, or watching her as the world number 3?
I remember saying to myself, one day I'm gonna marry her.
Really?
I'm kidding.
Oh, I was
18
like,
years old. No. I mean, she just was she was always so graceful with the way she played. I envied everybody that had something that I didn't have, and I just, her clarity and her sort of her professionalism and her methodical, you know, I mean, I was just an emotional wreck and when I was a teenager, like, you know, I would have some great days and some bad days, and I just watched her going about her business. So I always marveled at how she could do it so quietly, you know.
So this is you and Pat Rafter, a semifinal 2001.
Yeah, sounds right. And it was a brutally hot day, and the sky's open, so they closed the roof. And the fans think, well, that's a good thing because now it'll be better for the players. It's actually kind of tougher for the players because the heat's trapped in there, and the humidity builds incredible. So this was ridiculous humidity we were playing.
Was that?
Me and Pat could sweat in the swimming pool, let alone if you put us. Let alone if you put us
In a sauna.
In a sauna. I mean,
Yeah.
you can see that stuff. Our shoes were splashing.
What was it like? I mean, you guys played again all over the world, but what was it like to play him at home?
There was always so much respect for him. You know, it showed so much about the Aussie spirit and the sports fan, because they were pulling for him unquestionably, you know, but the fact that we were leaving it all out there, by the time we got to like the 4th set, I mean, they were just cheering warriors. It wasn't about pull for Pat. It was about just pull for just good tennis. I mean, yeah, and it felt equal by the end, but in the sense of just good sportsmanship, just good support. I mean, I was so moved by that, you know, to actually hear them cheering me too, you know, because you don't really expect that when you play somebody from the home country, especially with all the hype that had that.
Thanks for sitting on the couch with us.
Yeah.
I don't think you're a guy that's diving in a YouTube spiral watching your own highlights, so that was pretty cool, hopefully for you too.
I mean, sometimes you remember 50% of those points, and I can almost tell you where they were in the match. I mean,
You were
blood,
calling
sweat,
them shot for shot.
blood, sweat, and tears. You know, it's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, sport is unscripted, but you wrote a pretty good plot through your career, on court here and beyond.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Andre. Appreciate it.
Pleasure.